What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Trust the Tape. Good to see you.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff Cavanaugh, and that is Bryan Broaddus, former Cowboy scout.
Hey, Brian.
And Brian is sitting at the headquarters of Crown Global Media doing a little test run, I think. Yeah, not even all the way set up, but look at how clean. Look, I see your couch. You got your little coffee table. Look at all your pictures. Oh, Brian.
Yeah, how about that?
Follow Crown Global Media on YouTube. Do it now.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I've got my little sitting area behind me. I'm coming to you from the conference table today, and then today, this afternoon, or early tomorrow morning, I actually get my podcast table. So I've got a lot of equipment sitting over in the corner. I got a lot of money sitting over in the corner right now. But
show us the corner, Brian. Show us the corner.
I'm afraid if I do this, I'll mess up the angle here. But yeah, It's over here. I got a corner. I got boxes that go all the way across. So with microphones and cameras and all kinds of stuff. So a really big undertaking. And I've kind of enjoyed every step of the way. I really, really have. It's been a lot of fun. So, like I say, we've got something. I've been doing these shorts on these on the YouTube, and it's kind of fun. And yesterday, Zach Rowe, a friend of ours who works with us here at Crown, he actually has this camera. So he made me look like way better than I've ever looked. People are like, oh, nice camera and all this stuff.
You got to be careful with that now. You run one thing with the nice camera, and then all the other stuff looks goofy now. You know.
No, I got this. I went out and bought this iPro, the 16. That's what I'm on right now. So it's holding up okay. But yeah, you're right. Those cameras can make you look really, really good. But thanks for everybody who's subscribed, and thanks for everybody that's following along, and hopefully you'll give us a look here when we get going this season.
Crown Global Media on YouTube. Get up in there.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Jeffrey.
So Brian, you and just send me all of your super chats, and I get 80% of that. 20% goes to the company that I work for, because that was our agreement. So, and then if you send enough, and you say while you're sending the millions of dollars, hey, I want this to go to Brian, I'll give him some of it. How about that?
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah,
small percentage.
Hey, did you get to see? You're like probably like me, watching clips and stuff like that of the scrimmage the other day.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I'm doing the best I can to. Yes.
Did you happen to see DallasCowboys.com training camp live?
I didn't see training camp live. I saw they put up individual clips.
That's my baby. Training camp live was my baby.
I know that's the one that other teams started texting you like, hey,
Sean Payton. Sean
Payton's like, thanks for showing us what you guys are doing. We appreciate it. And the team was like, let's show less.
Sean one day reached out to me they were practicing down in Metairie, and Sean goes, hey, I'm getting ready to have lunch. What time's that training camp live start? And I went, I told my guys, I think maybe we need to think about training camp live, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, 13 minutes of Cowboys 2-minute drill.
Well, son of a biscuit. So I went this morning. I went to their media section.
I just retweeted it for people this morning, but that was 13 straight minutes of Yeomans and Nicole talking like through a 2-minute drill. And if you actually want to be somewhat encouraged by what happened at practice the other day,
nice.
The 2-minute drill. Now the second offense, I heard the second offense was better in the field when they were running just plays. But the 2-minute drill with Dak, CeeDee, Pickens, Nate Thomas, they moved the ball. They had a certain amount of time they had to get there. They had a certain amount of timeouts. Kyle was walking us through it, and Nicole did a really good job. But yeah, I mean, it's like,
do we see it? Or do we? Okay, they actually are showing the field too. Okay.
Yeah, they show the whole field. It's not a tight. But they, I think Alex Lilly does the filming for it, and they weren't tight. They got some shots, and you kind of see blocking, you see throwing, you see routes. So thanks to DallasCowboys.com, I'm pretty proud of that. That's another one of those little babies that you had that we kind of developed at DallasCowboys.com. But it's like 13 minutes of 2-minute football, and you're like, okay, well, they're rushing and you're blocking and you're catching and you're throwing. And so I was like, that's Rams defense. We reverse on and off kind of a situation. Nate Thomas The blocking was well. Dak was protected. The ball got out. Routes were open. They got in field goal range. Mission accomplished. So I know. Listen, hey, the bits and pieces that we're getting. There's a couple of things I put together just talking to folks there. It started off really poor for the Cowboys. They just did not have it together. You can watch the clip. They run a crack toss, and Sam Williams gets knocked inside, and ball's on the edge, and Kyron Williams is running for a touchdown. That part's not good. Yeah, yeah,
He did like this. Wee.
yeah, not at all. That's not good. But I was hearing that as they kind of got through practice, things improved. Things improved. And again, you get to the end where they're doing the 2 minute stuff, and you're like going, okay, without scheming it. And there were some things that the Rams did. There was a couple of clips that I saw. Okay, I get it. You're working on blitzes and stuff like that. If you're the Cowboys, the only blitzes I've seen them work on was against their own.
Right.
And here you have linebacker blitz, slot blitz, and all that. And so it's in a practice, that's kind of, it's like Schottenheimer throwing the ball deep. He said he got mad, he got pissed off, and he threw the ball deep, and Brooks made a hell of a play down the field. He said, yeah, you're not supposed to do that, but here we are. I don't know what the discussions were before, what the blitzing factors were. Do you going to blitz? You're not going to blitz. Sometimes they agree to these things. Listen, we'll blitz you in the practice, but we won't blitz you in the preseason game, that kind of thing. So sometimes these coaches have agreements. And so I don't know what was completely said, but I will say this, watching that 12 minutes, first offense, I felt good about the protection. I felt good about the quarterback throwing the ball, felt good about the routes, and felt good about the guys catching the football. That part of it, if I was standing there watching that, I would have said, okay, that's a winning period right there for the Dallas Cowboys.
I also feel like that's the part of the team that I would feel best about anyway, where it's like, oh, it's 2 minutes. They're going to throw it a bunch. It's going to be Dak and CeeDee and Pickens and Turp.
This might be. I asked this question yesterday. Vach. I said, are we going to be the Cincinnati Bengals?
I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible.
Where we just line up and we're just going to throw it, and we're going to try and block it up, and then we're just going to throw it. And if we have to run, we're going to run. But Vach seems to think that Cincinnati doesn't want anything to do with the run. And I don't know if Dallas is going to be that way.
I think the coaches
throwing the ball looks okay.
Yeah, and I have no worries about them throwing the ball. And let me knock out this super chat real quick. Andrew said, love the content. Always a fun listen. Split the money between Real Bricks, that would be behind me, and Vach's office chair fund at Crown Global Media. Wish you both the best. Okay, so we'll split 10 minus the 2 that goes to my company, minus the 30% I think that they take. We got done. Brian, I'm going to shoot you about $2.17 out of that, brother.
It's a start, man. It's a start. Appreciate you.
Like, no, I buy into everything that Shoddy says in terms of like who he wants to be and what he wants this team to be and how he wants to be physical. And look, they're fighting all the time because he wants to put on pads and he wants to have a physical practice and he wants to run 11 on 11. I absolutely believe that that's what he wants to be. But you can want in one hand and Dookie in the other.
No, man, you got to give him a chance to run the ball, though.
I'm not saying they're not going to try.
You can't say that through one practice that we're not going to. I asked you the question if they're Cincinnati Bengals. That's my fault.
I'm not saying that they don't want to run the ball.
You're shit canning the run right off the jump is what you're doing.
I am not shoot cannon the run.
You said shit cannon the run. Yeah.
What I'm telling you is I have a sneaking suspicion that at some point early in the season, they will recognize what they do.
Throwing the ball is better to them. Yeah.
They'll recognize what they do best and they'll start doing more of it.
Yeah. You might be right.
I'm interested in their attempt at it. If you can get your running backs popping 4.5 a carry or more, your boy will be happy. And you have my
they had a run. We saw a run where they got Bass and people were telling me who were at the practice watching, and next week you'll be one of those guys.
Yeah.
I had people telling me, like, listen, the second level stuff wasn't good enough. They didn't get secure. The movement from the Rams front gave them a lot of problems in this one, and it's kind of the same thing that Dallas is probably going to do with a little bit with the lighter front that they have. It's not going to play toe to toe. It's going to play with movement. And that gave the Cowboys offensive line some problems in the running game. And when they got second level up, didn't hit square, fell off blocks, linebackers were gone. That kind of stuff was the issue with them. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just like Jay Vaughn's question here. He said, "Good morning, guys. Do we stink?" I think Bryan just walked through it. Got a little optimism there at the end of practice.
I don't think, you know what, to me, people who have eyes on the practice were saying there was some rough patches of it. But if you watch seriously, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up people's ass right here and make this, I've been a part of these practices before. I've seen where you stand on one field and you can't see what's going on in the other field, and you're kind of like, and then you wait and get the film. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, I see. So to me, are there some things you absolutely have to? Shotty was saying he was playing with a 7-iron yesterday, and I believe him I believe that. I do believe that. But I'll say this: the encouraging things that I did see were, if you watch that 2-minute drill, and that's on the line. That's like, the second offense did it and they got stopped. They got an interception there.
Will Greer threw a pick.
Yeah, they didn't pick it up. They didn't pick up the blitz. It was bad. It was just a bad series for them. But if you watch the 13 minutes of the first offense with it, okay, have to have it, have to move the ball, have to make plays, have to block guys. Successful.
Here's the bad news about that, Bryan. You went all that way in that 2-minute drill and you kicked that field goal. That field goal put you down 17.
Well, the object was,
I know.
Yeah, the object was for you to win the drill.
Right.
You had to get inside the 30.
Yeah.
And mission accomplished on that. On some smart ball plays. Had a pass interference. They throw the ball. You watch it. They throw the ball down the field to CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee's like pointing. They're like, that's him. That's him right there, Mr. Official. That's the guy. If that ball is going to be down inside maybe the 15-yard line.
Yeah, so, and I those are the things that I know. Like, we talked about it leading up to scrimmage, joint practice, whatever. Where what Shotty said about the 7-iron, what you were saying about the coaches communicating, like, I think that in these scenarios, for the most part, these two teams are coming together, and the teams, because it's new people, like, they're going to get fired up. But the coaches are going to do this as a team, basically. Yeah. It's like, there's things I would like to see my offense against. Could you run this against this? I run this against that. And so you're doing all that. And when we go live and it's let's go do this. It's encouraging that the Cowboys, when it's, hey, this is for the game, etc. Here's our one. What are you going to do? Yeah. But also going into the practice, I would have told you, I know that they can do that. Like, because when everybody's playing,
we're not hearing that. We're not hearing that, though. That's what's the tone coming out of that. I haven't heard anybody talk about the 2-minute drill.
Okay, well, then here's what we got to do, Bryan. We got to pretend no one else exists in the entire content world and just focus on what we're doing, and then people.
That's fair. That's fair.
Telling us what's what.
That's fair.
Trust the tape, the unnamed Trust the Tape podcast. No, but that's the thing. It's like, when everyone's playing with a 7-iron, well, guess what's going to happen now? Like, the golf analogy to that would be X's and O's is the equipment, and Jimmy and Joe is the man swinging the club. Yeah. I know you don't have a dude that can cover CeeDee. I know that going into the practice. Yeah. I would imagine
maybe damn George Pickens too.
Yeah, and I would imagine that George Pickens is better than the man across from him. Yeah. I know these things. So when we're going to line up and we both have a 7-iron, CeeDee Lamb's going to kick your ass whenever I want him to. If you don't whoop one of my offensive linemen real quick, like, that's going to happen. And so I guess I do spend a lot of my time and attention on the things that I wonder about, where I think they could come up short this year. Run defense, offense. Can they cover? Yeah. Like, when you talk about, can you take this ball, move this ball, and score points right now? My answer is, I think this team can do that. If they're walking the whole team, they can absolutely do that. That's the one thing I'm not worried about it. CeeDee is going to destroy whoever's in front of him. I ain't worried about that. The rest of the stuff, I'm like, okay, but can I get some encouragement on some D-line play, on some linebacker play?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I talked to some people that said that, like, Maris Leofau, he played well. They said Damone Clark continued to play well. They were talking about Marquise Bell playing well. I mean, to me, my whole thing with the scrimmage, I'm not going to miss another one of these scrimmage things again. I mean, to me, you get a lot out of watching these things, and to be afar and then trying to kind of navigate all this stuff. Because, like you say, I saw a lot of positive things. I think when you go to camp, you're going to see positive things, and it's not all positive, but the narrative turns into, oh shit, we're gonna suck again, and they might very well do that. It might very well happen, but it very well might. But at least there's things that, like, to me, I think you have to be fair and evaluate. Okay, this is what I saw. This is what I saw. You know, verse Thomas. Sometimes when one good, but what they do one time, like Jake Ferguson, like stuck his elbow in Verse's ribs, and Verse stopped. Like, and Thomas is like, okay, cool, but here we go. See, that's kind of stuff you could do scheme help wise to do and make sure that you maybe take care of some things. So, like I said, when I was here for those 12 days, I saw some positive things. I think the running back situation is, I think with Blue and I think with Sanders, I think those two can do what they need to do. I'm not, and I might rue the day that I even said these words.
That's okay.
But I think
if you do, we'll barbecue you up that crow, and you can take you a nice little chunk out of it.
I don't have a problem with that. But I went in with the attitude that this running game might not be very good.
Right.
I went in with that. But I mean, you know what? I think that as Booker gets better, BB Shirley's going to get better. Smith didn't play a whole lot in that scrimmage the other day. He's still dealing with the knee tendonitis stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a lot of Hoffman. It was a lot of TJ Bass. Nothing against those gentlemen, but it ain't Tyler Smith in there playing.
No, there's a difference between a hot dog and a bun.
No, this is a hot dog bun.
I think it's a hot dog, too.
Yeah, there's a difference between I had to find a way to play it at some point in today's show. I just had to get that pulled off, and I hadn't done it yet, so we had to pull that off. Yeah, so they have all that, and I think hearing some of, or I guess reading, and training camp things, I'll tell you, next year, I'll be there with you.
Yeah.
We already had a little chat at the company. Like, we're going to go out there next week, and it'll be nice to be out there when most people are already gone.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of wrapping things up. Like, I think we'll get like 2 practices in while we're out there. We had a little chat, we got to do numbers during our week to go back to people and be like, hey, we got to be boots on the ground.
I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you, if I could be there the whole time, like I was last year, it is invaluable. It is so, you learn so much about the team and these scrimmages and doing games. And we're going to get game tape on Sunday morning. Going to get some game tape. We're going to be able to evaluate that. That's another part of it. Yeah. Things might look totally different, but I'm just saying, though, I appreciate what DallasCowboys.com did with Training Camp Live. I saw 12 minutes of football where I'm like, okay, I can evaluate this, I can evaluate that, but being there live there's nothing better than that.
No, it changes everything. Like last year, my gig at DLLS had not started yet.
Right.
And so I went on my own.
You're hanging out with me. Yeah, you're hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, I went on my own and just footed the bill to YouTube it. And like, there's no replacement for sneaking around to the far side and listening to how the coaches interact with players and being eyes on whatever you want to know about, whatever you want to talk about. Because that was like, I thought seeing the way that the coaching staff last year was communicating with certain players, told you what they thought about people. Yeah. Because people are going to be positive about guys, generally speaking, in the media. And if you want to know what's really going on, get your butt there. Yeah. So next year I'll be there for at least 2 weeks, and hopefully
I'm not. I can say I don't want to miss any more of these joint practice things. I think you get a lot out of those. I really, really do. I think the practices that lead up to the joint practices, and then after that point, you can head on home and kind of get an idea. But like I said, I watched that and I was thinking like, okay, there was some doom and gloom. There was some absolute doom and gloom, and people who know what they're talking about. I mean, I think Nick Harris knows what he's talking about. I work with Nick on the draft show. I think he's got a good eye for this stuff.
By the way, Joe Hoyt, my buddy Joe Hoyt, who
Joey
I love,
Hort,
he's a really good writer, and
Yeah.
now Dallas Morning News. He's a good broadcaster too when he worked with us. But his article started with something along the lines of, they don't keep scoring these things, and that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
To your point about there was the little doom and gloom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You get to a point where, like, when you're watching this stuff, you don't see it all. The great advantage I had working with DallasCowboys.com is I used to be able to take the film and now really dive into, like, oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's what happened. So, like I said, give me these preseason games. Give me the joint practices. Give me all those things. It's all part of the puzzle.
I would like to thank you, Bryan, for continuing to do a show with Jeff, as he just spews Cowboys hate now. So thank you for hanging in there with all of my Cowboys hate, my rage.
Are you doing on your podcast stuff, or are you doing a lot of hate stuff? I don't mean hate, but are you sports hating? What are you doing?
Oh, I go after the front office a decent amount.
I figured so.
Yeah, I go after the front office a decent amount. I do think that they I want the Cowboys to win every game they play. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I live in Dallas, Texas. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. I will say I am a Cowboy fan.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when the front office makes it hard, where I don't want to cheer for them, but I cheer for the football team. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that happens.
What if, and I'm not trying to blame this on Micah, but how would you describe Micah as, and it's gonna be the wrong way of saying it, how would you describe Micah as a person engaging with another person?
I think Micah's unique. I think the Jane Slater stuff is real. I think there's absolutely, I heard this a year ago, 2 years ago, where there were absolutely, whether it was coaches or front office or whatever, I heard that there were plenty of people in the building that are just like, oh, we got to deal with Micah Parsons. Like, he's a great player, but we got to deal with Micah Parsons. And I think part of that, I don't know which way I go with this part of it, because I think this is sort of one piece of evidence of what you're hinting toward. The fact that Micah is making his negotiation, I think he's doing a great job of winning the PR battle against Jerry Jones, which is something most people don't bother to engage in. I think he's doing a great job of doing it.
He's a savvy media guy for sure.
Yeah, but his alignment, lockstep of bringing into the circle of me versus them with Trayvon Diggs is a real weird decision. Of constantly like making sure we're together. We're gonna, hey, come me and you are gonna do a joint press conference with a guy that's probably in his last year with the team, because a lot of folks with the team, between injuries and how he's handled them and whatever, they don't appear to be big fans of him. That's a weird alignment to make when you're trying to get a contract done. And I think that speaks a little bit to Micah.
Yeah. What if you were to negotiate with Micah?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that if you were to talk to him one-on-one, that you could hammer something out?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think Mike is the sort of guy that would absolutely be willing to engage.
I think that's what I'm saying.
But that's why I don't like, but that's why. So I'm on the exact other side while admitting that part of it. Like, I think that if you invited Dak Prescott into your office and you're like, here's what I'm thinking on a contract, he'd be like, oh, yeah, call Todd. And if you were to invite CeeDee in, like, I don't think he's engaging in that. He'd be like, yeah, it sounds good, but yeah, call my people. Like, Micah getting invited in, he will absolutely go. He will absolutely entertain you. He will absolutely do all of that. But Jerry, your title is owner and general manager.
Yeah.
The weird standoffishness and personal attacks on the most powerful agent in the NFL is so awkward. And saying things like, I only talk to principals. No, you don't. And if you do, that's not the job title. The job title GM is to get contracts done with the agent.
But this is where I think that the signals are crossed here. I think Jerry, through history, has been able to talk to his star players in a way, the Troy Aikmans, the Michael Irvins. The one he really had some disconnect with initially was Emmitt Smith. But he's DeMarcus Ware. He's always Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
He's always been able to talk to his star players. I'm saying this about Micah. I think Micah engaged in conversation with him about the contract.
Oh, I know that he did.
I think Micah, in a way, relished to be able to sit down and kind of, and maybe an egotistical way of like, okay, I'm sitting here with one of the most powerful people in professional sports, and I'm
Yeah.
going toe to toe. And for
Yeah.
for 2 hours or 3 hours, however long that was,
Yeah.
you ain't just talking about is it the hot dog or is it the bun? You
Right.
ain't talking about that.
No.
You're talking about, well, what do you think about this? Well, I know. I think about this. I think that's where Jerry got his signals crossed. He probably felt like that Micah was engaging a meaningful conversation with him. And as that conversation was going on, Jerry's like, I see what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? And Micah says, well, no, 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 no. What about that? And then it got to, well, let's talk to Todd. Jerry is used to dealing with people one on one.
Yeah.
He is so used to dealing with that. And I'm not trying to defend Jerry. I'm just saying that maybe Micah Parsons drew him into this conversation by his personality, his willingness to sit and talk with it. He immediately should have said, hey, Jerry, listen, I appreciate you wanting to talk about this. You know, David's more willing to handle it for me. Micah has confidence in himself
Uh-huh.
that he could have hammered this thing out. And Jerry was engaged with him hammering it out. And I think that's why Jerry's taking this approach. It's like, bro, you and I sat down for 2 hours. We don't know there could have been other conversations too. We don't even know that.
Yeah.
We don't know. There could have been other conversations where Mike is like, oh, hey, well, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting to me, I think Micah Parsons is super engaging. And I think he looked at this as a possibility. Like I say, I'm sitting here with one of the most powerful people in professional sports. And I'm gonna hammer this, I'm gonna get the parameters of this thing set. I think that's why Jerry's mad right now. Because he spent the time and enjoyed the engagement that he did have with Micah to get this thing somewhat in that direction.
No, I agree 100% with what
I
you're
think it's
saying.
on Micah too. I don't think it's Jerry. We can kick Jerry in the ass, but Jerry felt like he had a real negotiations with Micah Parsons, and he kind of enjoyed it.
Micah, I believe, made a mistake because, like Des Bryant said this before, like Jerry tried to do this to him.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, come in here and let's talk about your contract. And he's like, why would I come do something that is your job that's not my job? You're going to kick my ass at that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
There you go. There you go.
And Micah is willing to do all those things. I think it was very Mark Cuban, Chandler Parsons. They had a huge bromance because Chandler Parsons thought it was great to hang out with a billionaire. And Mark Cuban thought it was great to be a cool kid. And so I think I agree that the way that it went and that Micah has fault in engaging in that conversation, absolutely positively. But I think it's a sign of who Jerry is. Like the very beginning of it, at least according to Micah, would be Jerry said, hey, come talk to me. I want to talk about leadership, blah, blah, blah. And then you do an end around and you try to get Micah into talking about things that you
What if Micah brought it up? What if Micah said, hey, boss, what are you going to do about my contract? Now we don't know that. We don't know that.
All I have is Micah's words.
Well, we haven't heard Jerry's words.
Jerry says a lot of words. He said a lot of words. I think what happened is Jerry thought he had gotten one. Like he got Tyron. He got Tyron to sign at top of the market money forever. And by year two, he had a terrible contract.
I wonder.
He had him, and then he didn't have him, and now he's mad because he thought he was going to pull one over on him. And then it turned out, whoops, his agent didn't let him do something dumb.
Like I said, I just don't think 2 to 3 hours of conversation is about, and there's a side of me, and Micah will say things. Micah will say things direct. Micah, and I give him credit. I give him credit. Micah could have probably talked about, hey, where's all this bullshit coming from about me? Where's all this bullshit that the media is talking about me coming from? Who in the organization is talking about me? And that could have been a conversation. That could have been, and like, well, hey, man, you ain't hearing it from Steven. You ain't hearing it from me. We're the guy, but Mike said, well, wait a minute, man. I hear Bryan Broaddus talking about it. I hear Jeff Cavanaugh talking about it. I hear Clarence Hill talking about it. I hear 105.3 talking about it. What is this? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then you get a chance to maybe explain. But I just don't know who initiated the contract or the talk. Because we can put it on Jerry of bringing him in. We could put it on Jerry for bringing him in. But Micah is so effing direct that I think that maybe he drew Jerry into this conversation. Okay, you want to talk? All right, let's talk.
I guess I base it on the history of the two people. Like Mike has never been here to do a
They're
contract.
They're both direct.
And Jerry's
dudes.
been trying to get one over on the players and cut the agent out for his entire life. So I just assume that's what he tried to do, and he thought.
See, that's where I think we might be mistaken a little bit.
Okay,
I'm looking at it from Micah being a bold ass personality. Like Mike ain't CeeDee like, man, let Dak. Oh man, let me.
Oh, I don't doubt that Micah might have said something like, "Yo, we need to get a deal done, Jerry." Like
this guy is
this guy
is savvy. He's media. He's all these things. He knows. I'm just saying though, and I'm not trying to defend Jerry Jones. I'm just saying that Jerry was challenged by, I
got a whole cup full of water if you want to keep carrying it for him, buddy. I got a whole cup full of it if you want to carry it.
You're just disappointed that you didn't think of this first.
No, I'm not, because that wouldn't be fun. I wouldn't get to be mad at Jerry. I like being mad at Jerry. It's fun. I would say there's two guys right there that probably engaged in a conversation, and both of them thought they had a deal. That's fine. I'm also frustrated with them because they could have been a juggernaut over the last decade. The way that they were drafting and developing, if they would have made aggressive trades, aggressive signings, really filled holes instead of assuming they could develop
Stephen
everything.
Jones admitted to me. Stephen Jones says they got to wear it. Stephen Jones said, Brian, I wear it. I understand the fans are mad. I get it. I wear it every single day. Will, Jerry, Steve, we all wear it, so we'll see.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. And thank you, Brian. Make sure you're following Crown Global Media on YouTube. They're having a trough put in so they can have more water to carry for the Cowboys front office.
And make sure you're following Jeff, where you really don't get the real story and you don't have in-depth conversation about really what's going on.
Oh, you son of a biscuit. Remember, everybody, you have no idea what either one of us is going through. So be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.